So here we are, day in the life. I've basically just been up this morning, made a brew and been applying for a few more jobs. I've been without a job now for probably around a month, which to some people is probably not a long time, but to me I'm starting to get itchy feet now. Obviously you're cautious about kind of spending money and what you're kind of doing really. So I had an interview yesterday. So my background is basically in e-commerce, so I've worked for some big like sports retailers, doing like things like merchandising. I've been an e-commerce manager, so I kind of want to stick in that avenue really. I mean, a lot of people have been like, maybe you should change, maybe you should go to something different, but I've got like 8 to 9 years doing that, so I don't really want to lose sort of my experience in doing that really. So today it's like warm, it's 15 degrees and I'm gonna look at trying to get out on the bike again, which is a shock, but the reason I do it is because I'm not spending any money when I'm out on the bike, so I can sort of get out there, obviously improve my fitness, and it's not really costing me any money. It's not just that, obviously it's good for your head as well, I think, getting out, doing any form of exercise. So I do a bit of running as well, and you know, if you've got a lot of things on your mind and you kind of jump on the bike or you go for a run or whatever, I tend not to think about anything else. Well, whether that's because I'm fatigued or, you know, I can't even breathe properly, it's a good thing for me really, just to sort of clear my mind, get out on the bike. A lot of people who are not really into cycling always say you're not worried about the roads, but I suppose if you think about that every time you go out, you'll probably never do it. So yeah, I just kind of like sort of clearing my own head with this form of sort of endurance exercising really. And obviously, like, if you've got stuff going on, like, it is good to clear your mind, but try and speak to people as well. Like, obviously with what I've had going on kind of with the redundancy and stuff, it's make sure you're just speaking to people, telling them, you know, if you're not feeling great, oh, I don't feel great today because of X, Y and Z, and you know, you've got to speak about how you feel. Like, I know a lot of people kind of just hold it in and don't really speak about how they're feeling, but I always feel like the best way to deal with stuff is to just sort of air it out. So what's the rest of my plans for today? So I'm going to try and do like probably a 40k loop. So I'll probably be out for like an hour and a half, so not too long. But yeah, I'm going to try and just keep busy today really. You know, I've got a few bits that I can be cracking on with as well. I think the really important thing when you've got time on your hands, and especially if you're looking for work or anything like that, is keep trying to upskill. So I've done a course through Google, which is like a digital marketing course, just to put another feather in my cap really. I've obviously been learning the tricks and trade of editing videos, recording videos. I know a few people commented on the last videos about kind of trying to have a hook and, you know, get people interested in the videos. So I'm obviously trying something slightly different today with a little bit more speaking. But yeah, that's the plan really. I just think when it comes to cycling as well, it's really important that we can't try and, you know, inform people as well, because I've obviously come from a background where I've had people who were involved in it and sort of know about it, but it can be a bit of a minefield, to be honest. And I know you see kind of these influencer type people online who have £8,000 bikes and, you know, the kit's like £500 as well. You don't need that, to be honest. It's like, obviously the more you get into something, the more you want to upgrade your stuff. So whatever you're into, you kind of, if you're into cars, you'll start off with not a fantastic car and you'll upgrade and upgrade. I feel like with me, my bike, you know, it's very good for what I obviously use it for, but it's still not top spec, you know. It's a full carbon bike with 105 Di2, and I know 105 is kind of the group set for the people. So in terms of group set, you're talking about obviously the drivetrain, the front mech, the rear mech, the cassette, the brakes. So yeah, it's kind of making sure you're sort of aiming for what you need. Like for me, I was always having like problems with the gearing on my bike and stuff, and the kind of electronic gearing sort of eradicated that for me. So it's made my life easier, I know that. But yeah, you don't need to spend sort of thousands of pounds on sort of equipment and stuff. Like in terms of bikes, if you're just getting into the sport, you know, there's cycle to work schemes. Maybe look at a second-hand bike. You can get some really good stuff sort of second-hand, so it's always worth considering that as well. And yeah, in terms of kit, when you're getting into it, like I'd advise anyone, and I've got quite a bit of kit from like Decathlon, so the Van Rysel range is like really good quality kit that's not too expensive. Obviously the more you get into it and the more you start like getting attracted to the brands, you know, like I'm a sucker for like Rafa and stuff. I just think like the aesthetic to it is really good, and you know, it's what I like. But you know, you don't need to be going out spending a fortune. Even have a look for like sort of shoes and stuff on Vinted and eBay, because you can get a really good deal for that. What I would say is probably try a pair on, because I've had it where I'm a size 10, I've ordered a size 10 and they're too small. I needed to go up like half a size, so it's just sort of gauging kind of what your needs are and what you're into and how much you are cycling as well. Like for me, obviously with this redundancy, I'm trying to get out like 3 times a week, which, you know, it's a lot for some people who are working full time, but it's only because I've got this time. Like when I'm in full time work, I can't get out sort of 3 times a week, so it's sort of gauging, you know, what your needs are. I think what I would advise is make sure you've got a good helmet. Like the amount of people I've seen on road bikes without helmets on it's mental. If you come off your bike and hit your head without an helmet on, you're gonna know about it. Like you won't see someone on a motorcycle with no helmet on, and some of the speed you can get on these road bikes, you're talking 30 miles an hour like on average. So it's kind of make sure you're protected, get a good quality helmet. Lights as well, like not necessarily today because it's pretty good weather and it's good visibility, but as it starts getting darker, or certainly in winter, like you need to be seen. So if you can kind of get some good quality lights, I use kind of a Rock Bros, which is just like sort of a cheaper light, but you know it's good, and it's USB and it connects to a GoPro mount, so it kind of like it's all integrated, which is just great for me really. So yeah, I'm gonna finish the rest of this brew and then I'm gonna sort of get something quick to eat, maybe some toast, something. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna try and do a climb today called Sharneyford. Now this climb it comes from Todmorden to Bacup, and it's ruthless, to be honest. Like there's a lot of climbs around where I live in the Pennines they're hard, to be honest. But I'm just gonna take it easy, make sure you can kind of get up there, you know, not kill yourself at the start, just pace yourself. So I'll get obviously some footage and of that climb, but yeah, that's gonna be the main sort of climb of the ride today.
With that little climb then. Feels so good to be fit. That's one good thing about redundancy, that I've actually had time to improve my fitness, to be honest. When you're working an office job, it's hard to even get your steps in every day, so you just kind of got to make the most of a bad situation, and it's absolutely cracking the flags as well. Well, I'm in Cliviger. I've decided to stop to have a gel. Now, if you've ever seen anything as hanging as this in your life, it's a Kendall mint cake gel. I didn't have any left and my dad had these, so I pinched one, to be honest. But while I was cycling up here then, I were having a think, like, you know, when I were younger, I were into the bike and all that, and I wonder where you'd be if you kind of stuck at something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, like, I've had some of the best years in my life, like with my mates, going on holidays, a beefer, you know, nights out, Manchester, what have you. So I wouldn't have really changed anything, but it kind of interests you, doesn't it? And there's a lot of climbs around here that when you have a look on Strava, it's like Simon Yates has got kind of the KOM and stuff, and obviously he's in the Tour now and he's like a local lad as well. It's just crazy, isn't it, to think if you stick at something how far you could actually get. So it gets you thinking, really, doesn't it? Now, another thing, when you're kind of on the topic of Strava, I have such a love-hate relationship with Strava. I think it can sort of ruin when you've done a ride and you say, oh, such and such a person who I'm friends with on Strava did it 10 minutes quicker than me. Now, I don't use it as that, really. I use it as a comparison tool for myself. You know, when you're seeing yourself get fitter, and cycling never gets any easier, you just get faster. So at least to have some gauge on how you're improving, like for me, that's like one of the biggest keys I use it for. And obviously creating routes as well. Kind of if you're looking to go somewhere different on your bike, I think everyone's guilty of doing the same kind of loops and the same routes, but you can build routes on Strava as well, which is such a good like functionality. But definitely don't become like a Strava whore where you're going out, oh, I want to get the KOM on this country lane that's only ever had 5 people riding up it anyway. Like, there's just no point. You know, it's good to track where you're up to, but definitely don't start thinking you're the bee's knees because you've got a few crowns on Strava. Like, it means nothing, to be honest. Obviously you can compare loads of stuff on there. Some people kind of go off, oh, what's my average speed, you know, what power am I putting out? I hate power. Like, I absolutely, me and my dad, and you'll hear me say it before, it's watts are for electrical items, are for batteries. Don't start comparing yourself like, oh, I only put out 120 watts and a pro puts out 300. Tadej Pogacar's probably on performance enhancing drugs, and if he's not, fair play to him, but I'm 90% sure he is, and most of the Grand Tour cyclists are probably on something that's kind of performance enhancing. You know, just enjoy being out. Like, where do you get to go when there's like roads like this? You get to see all the countryside, you know, just in a train going past. Where do you get that? You don't get that sitting at home, like watching the telly, you know. Be out there, just enjoy it, enjoy being on the bike, get more comfortable and enjoy your own progression. Like, I am by no means any good on a bike. I'm so bang average, it's unbelievable, but I just like being out. I like getting fitter. Obviously, as I mentioned before, like with this redundancy, it's kind of so good that I have a hobby like this where I can get out when it's nice weather, you know, explore local areas, go to places where I probably never would go in the car or walking, and just enjoy being outside, you know. But then at the same time, challenge yourself, you know. Go up climbs that are hard, they'll make you a better cyclist. Like, I absolutely hate climbing sometimes. I get up and I wear an Apple Watch, I look at my heart rate, 180 beats per minute, and it's like teetering on cardiac arrest, but kind of just enjoy getting fitter and enjoy the process, and yeah, I love it.
Right, here we go. The climb to Sharneyford. You'll see this sort of railway bridge on your right hand side. Get under it. Just remember, this is a proper busy road, so keep in your lane. Always try to keep to the far left hand side as you can. As you'll see, a tractor, that'll kill you. So keep on, it's pretty flat here. Another cyclist, away pal. Yeah, and just, this is relatively easy, this part. It's flat until it starts to kick up. Right, so from here, this is where it starts getting a bit spicy. So it probably kicks up to about 3 or 4% here, to be honest. You'll know this bit because there's an house on the right hand side a little bit further up here. And it's just a bit of a tester, to be honest. It's a bit long, it's just seems like it's never going to end. But yeah, you'll see these houses on the right hand side here and it'll kick round. So now it's a bit more open, to be honest. You'll start to see the moorland, you'll see me getting out of the saddle. I'm blowing at this point, legs are stinging and what have you, but you just got to keep at it. There's still a fair bit to go yet, to be honest, but the road kind of levels out here, and there's a bit of roadworks actually a bit further on here, but yeah, it kind of levels out before it kicks up again. The second part of this after this flat bit is the tester, to be honest. It's sort of got like 1.5 kilometres left, and it really kicks up, ramps up to like 6-7%. So yeah, so just make sure this is where you're kind of taking a break, because it gets a bit ruthless after this. Right, so you'll notice on the right hand side here there's a bit of a farmhouse. This is normally in the past where I'd have got off and had a break, but I'm powering through today, to be honest. You need to be careful on this road as well because there's always sheep for some reason. So yeah, it's not a busy road, but cars do fly up here, so yeah, you just need to dig in at this point. You'll be knackered here, unless you're like some sort of athlete, you'll be knackered. It's a tiring one, and what it does at the top here, the camera angle's a bit bad, but it forks round right and levels off again and then kicks up left again. So these are sort of the final sort of climb here. You've got this and then the next one, but I'm really in pain here. I look like I'm smiling, but trust me, I'm not. On the Wahoo, I've got sort of the climb, so I can see where I'm going to get a break and where I'm not going to get a break. So yeah, I'm just ploughing through here, to be honest. So yeah, at this point I'm probably 300 metres from the top, so I thought I'd give it a bit of a kick here in a second. It's hard, I'm sweating cobs as well at this point, because also there don't seem to be any wind now. You can slightly hear it, but it's not that breezy, so I'm trying to give myself a rest. But yeah, just ploughing through last couple of 100 metres, and that's it. I've knocked the gears down, that's me. I am Romeo done. Just have a bit of a break here before I get to the top. It's hard, this climb, it really is. So that's it, top of the climb, and as I look over my shoulder, another cyclist, asking him how he is. And it's Chris, who lives on my street, and he's got the nicest bike I've ever seen. It's a Pinarello Dogma. So we're asking each other kind of where we've been, what we've been doing. It's nice to see him out that road. I've never actually seen him out, to be honest, but he sort of egged me on here to give it a bit on the descent now. I probably would have took it easy, to be honest, and caught my breath back, but nothing like a bit of peer pressure. So you'll see from the rest of this clip that me and Chris absolutely bomb it down this climb now.
Sharneyford's not easy, but I got it done, and I smashed the time I've done it in by like 5 minutes. I'm about 10k from home now, so I'm gonna bat on.
Right, so I'm back from my ride. I did 47k, which took me nearly 2 hours, 500 feet of elevation, and yeah, it was good. The weather was lovely, man. It was red hot. There wasn't much wind really either. It was, you know, just really light. So yeah, I'm gonna sort of have some food and just have a bit of a relax this afternoon. I just thought I'd show you these. They've just arrived. Stickers for the bike. What's for batteries. So if you want one of them, let me know and I'll send you one out because they're mint.